Hello, welcome back to my channel, my space, my energy. This is Luna Ray and I'm Angela, and today I'm going to be showing you how I make my black salt. Actually in my last video that I made, my protection candle video, I had used my black salt and someone in the comments asked that I do a video on how I make the black salt, and I thought absolutely it is the quickest, easiest video that I can whip up real fast. And so I just grabbed all the items and I got out here. The sun is setting, so I have like a little bit of sunlight left but yeah, let's get started because like I said, it is the easiest thing. So I'm going to quickly go over the items that I have on the table here. I'm just going to bring them closer to the camera so you can see them. Alright, so I've got a charcoal disc. I don't know if you're familiar with charcoal discs. I use these to, you just light these on fire and kind of burn herbs on them. But anyway, you're going to need a charcoal disc. This is what turns your salt black. I also have some brick dust from my local metaphysical shop. I also have sulfur dust that I got from a local metaphysical shop. I have, one of my favorite parts is ashes from my cauldron. Now what I have in here is a pretty big sage bundle that wouldn't go out. Does that sound familiar? Anyway, I just kind of let it burn, and good thing I did. I think it's actually a great thing to incorporate into black salt is white sage ashes. I think that's actually a really good idea. I've got dragon's blood, cayenne powder. Of course, I've got my kosher salt, and let's see, okay, I do have a, you can probably barely see it, but it is a multicolored tourmaline stone that I will be putting inside of my black salt jar. And then I've got, as always, my petition. Now my petition here is really just saying what I'm asking this black salt to do. It's kind of like my prayer. Just saying that I'm calling in the protection. I'm naming out the ingredients. I'm kind of asking what I'm calling from the ingredients. I'm thinking my spirit guides. I'm thinking my ingredients for just releasing these magical properties into my black salt. So the first thing I'm going to do is, I've got these nice little tweezers, or tongs rather, and I'm going to actually light my little petition, my prayer. I'm gonna actually light it on fire, and I'm gonna drop it into, I don't know, I hope you can see, I'm gonna have to move some things out the way, and so I'm just gonna light this on fire and kind of drop it and its ashes into my cauldron here. And really what I'm doing is just allowing the intentions that I'm placing into this black salt to be placed into this placed into this cauldron. Fire is a good way of releasing, and so I am just releasing my intentions, releasing my prayers, and just placing them into my black salt entirely. And I think this is a good time as it burns to kind of just watch the flame and really concentrate on your intentions that you're placing into your black salt. So as that continues to burn, the next thing that I'm going to bring out is my salt. So I've got my salt here, and I'm just going to turn the dial so it pours out. And I have my jar. Okay, so I've got my white salt, white kosher salt in this little jar here. And the next thing I'm going to add is my charcoal disc, and this is what turns your black salt black. So for the sake of time, I've already I put a charcoal disc inside my mortar and pestle, and I kind of just, you know, made it nice and powdery. I don't know if you can tell, you probably can't see it, but it's nice and powdery because I crushed it up, okay? So now you can see it's not completely black, it's more like a grayish color, but it's turning black from the charcoal. Charcoal is cleansing, and so it's great for what you're calling in when you're making your black salt. The next thing that I want to add to my black salt is a little dragon's blood. So I'm going to pour a little bit into my mortar and pestle. Go ahead and grind that up. This will take a second. Just grind up my dragon's blood. Dragon's blood just makes anything that you are adding it to more powerful. So I'm just going to mix that in there. The next thing I want to add is cayenne powder. Now cayenne powder's got some kick, and that's a good one to add because I want to kind of make sure that I'm adding something that will cause my enemies to flee. And that's what I'm doing with this cayenne powder. I'm actually not just banishing people, but having any enemies, anybody with ill will towards me, kind of flee from me. So add a little bit, maybe a little. You can never have too much, right, when you want enemies to flee. So that's in there. And then I have my brick dust. Now my brick dust is something that you would pour, again, if it's almost like if you don't want your enemies to cross a threshold, you would pour the brick dust at whatever threshold. Maybe if you've got neighbors that you're not not gelling with, you could probably pour the brick dust, you know, around like the yard line or something like that. Thankfully my neighbors are fine, so I don't have issues like that. But if you did, brick dust would be good for that. So again, it's something that keeps your enemies at bay. I also look at it as a wall, it's a red wall, almost like a fiery wall of protection that kind of keeps people that you do not want around you, keeps negative energy and ill will kind of walled off from you. Now sulfur. Sulfur is interesting because it's got that pungent smell to it, and it has an excellent property of definitely keeping people away, but also returning ill will back to that sender. It's almost it's just so pungent. It kind of has a kick to it as well. It just sends whatever was ill towards you right back. Be careful with the powder. I've read that it's what's the word I'm looking for? Flammable. So be careful when you're working with any sulfur powder if you choose to add that to your black salt. And then I think the best ingredient that you will add to your black salt is the ashes from your cauldron. So the ashes I have here, like I said, are of a white sage bundle. So this is white sage ashes. Also includes ashes from previous rituals, previous work that I've done. And then of course the ashes of my petition are here too. So I'm just gonna add, and I don't know if you can see, I think you can though. I'm just gonna add these ashes to my black salt. And I've got like some good stuff in here from just previous working, so I'm grabbing whatever I've got. You know, you really should keep your ashes. Your ashes is magical in itself. I like to either sprinkle them on plants or just, you know, usually I'll just come out in the backyard here and just pour my ashes back onto a plant, just kind of offering it back to Mother Nature. I don't just throw my ashes away. You should never throw your ashes away. So go ahead and mix all that up. Now I like my black salt pretty dark, and this is kind of light for me. I'm going to add just a few more ashes. I've got like twigs in here, I've got all kinds of crap in here. A few more ashes, and then I'm going to actually add this brick, I'm also going to add this second charcoal disc because I really do want my black salt pretty dark. And you just gotta smash it. It's super simple. And then pour it in. until you reach the consistency, or not the consistency, the darkness that you're looking for. I really like my black salt pretty dark. So it's still on the light side, but it's fine. It's probably only light on the top. It's actually pretty dark at the bottom. Anyway, alright, so I've added all of my ingredients to my black salt. You can see its color. I think that you can still see how it's a little light, like the salt crystals are still pretty light. Now what I think I want to do is, that's a little coarser than I want it to be. So what I'm going to do is actually add it back to my mortar and pestle. Maybe I think I'll add it like a little bit at a time and kind of grind it up a little bit more. And now while I'm grinding it up a little bit more, I need to remember to move in a fashion counterclockwise. And so I need to be moving this direction. And the reason you want to move counterclockwise is because when you're working on protection, you're actually asking for something to be kept from you. And so counterclockwise means you're asking for negativity, ill will, evil to be pulled from you, and counterclockwise is moving away from you because time moves clockwise. So move in a counterclockwise fashion so that you are pulling things away from you. Okay? And my other reason for wanting to pulverize this a little bit more is that if you want to like make a little jar or a little satchel or something, that you could actually take this with you, and if you make it in a nice powder form, it'll be easy to put it in another direction. If you want to keep someone from you for whatever reason, you could blow it that direction. I'm not saying I'm condoning harm or ill will, but if there is a presence that you feel is causing havoc in your life or whatever, you can use this to keep that person and their energy away from you. And if you have it on hand and it's a powder form and it's not super coarse, then you are able to kind of just blow it a direction and it's not super noticeable. You know, it kind of just withers away in the air. So that's why I want to make it nice and thin. All right, so that's one way to thin it out if you feel like you need to. And then the last piece I have, of course, is the tourmaline that I showed you in the beginning, my multicolored tourmaline. So multicolored tourmaline comes in many colors. Black, like we all know, comes in black. It can also come in pink. So pink is in here. This little tumbled has a little bit of pink. This tumbled also has a little bit of green, a little bit of brown, and then it even has a nice little piece of quartz. I don't know if you'll be able to see it on the camera, but there's like even a nice little piece of quartz hidden in there, which I think makes it super magical. I absolutely love that little pocket there. So anyway, I'm gonna put it inside my black salt. I want to put the black tourmaline in my salt so that it continues to release its properties of protection into my black salt at all times. Of course, I won't take it out, I'll leave it there, and like I said, it will just release the properties of protection at all times within my black salt. So that's it. That's my black salt. I hope that wasn't too fast, and I hope I explained things enough, and if I didn't, just leave questions and I'll answer them in the comments when I get a chance to. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I really hope that you learned something while watching. Alright, I'll talk to you later. Bye. Woo! Don't smell it. Oh God, that's a kick.